So there I was, doom scrolling through some auctions, searching for Star Trek stuff. And a result came back for a local auction house local to me. And I thought, well, as I'm here, I might as well have a look at what else might be of interest here, because the lot I found wasn't massively interesting to me. And I came across what I'm about to show you, which was bonkers, because I wasn't looking for it. Hadn't even crossed my mind for years, but I had one when I was very, very little. What was even more bonkers was that I wasn't going to be around when the auction was actually happening, so I just put an auto bid in, and I just barely got it on the auto bid that I put in, just barely. So I was extremely lucky to get it at all. Somebody else was clearly looking for one. And the ultimate irony was that it was misspelt. Classic schoolboy error that you really wouldn't expect from an auction house. But they dropped the K. So anyone searching for K Knight Rider would not have found it, because it was just down as a night, as in a time of day when the sun isn't up, rider. So, as a friend once said to me, you know, if you're supposed to get these things, you're supposed to get them, and sometimes that's the way the penny falls, you know? And such was the case in this case. So without further ado, let's have a look at it. And here we have a truly tremendous piece of polystyrene. But of course, it's got a slightly more interesting covering that comes with it. Bosh. Look at that. Right out of the 80s. 1982 actually, apparently. At least copyright 1982, Universal City Studios. This is a properly licensed Knight Rider. It's a properly licensed KITT. And I have such fond memories of this car. And yes, it does light up. And I will show you that towards the end of the video. I want to say it's not in perfect condition, but actually I think it probably could be. So that's the entirety of the box there. As you can see, it comes with a pretty sort of standard remote, but even the remote's got Knight 2000 on it. Incidentally, KITT stands for Knight Industries 2000, so it's an acronym, KITT. So the fact they're calling it the Knight 2000 sort of works. But obviously KITT didn't actually have Knight Rider plastered across its windscreen, but you know, it's a toy. This is a 1/18th scale series radio control car. It's Radiotron, apparently. Radio control system. So this is not, and this is what really endeared it to me a lot, is the fact that this is not attached by a wire. It's not one of those daft remote control cars from the 80s that said it's remote control and then you get it out of the box and you discover it's wired to the car. It's not. It's proper radio control. So you can see there it features KITT Knight Rider car, 2-speed gear change, forward reverse with left and right turn and stop, suspension, dual stick controller, bonnet lights, batteries not included, and it needs a lot. It needs 6 AAs and 1 9-volt. Yeah, as it says there. Now I think those are quite old references to battery types, but you know the modern ones will do it. And I don't know, others will comment on how good a representation of the Trans Am it actually is. But it was produced by Matsushiro. I have not found many examples of it to compare it with on eBay at all. It has to be said, I just have not seen it particularly. It's effectively the same on both sides, although you get actually, interestingly, it's got the, yeah, it's got a slightly different artwork on both. So you've got that sort of rear-facing artwork and side artwork there, and then you've got a much bigger rear view of it on the other side of the box, which is clever of them. And they're sort of subtitling it "The Knight in a Shining Car," which is interesting. Oh, no way, really? So this just caught my eye down here. Look at that. Moorfield Industrial Estate, Leeds, West Yorkshire. Gosh. So they're actually producing it in the UK from the looks of it. I did not know that. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why I would have known that, but I'm just laughing because that's not that far from me. It's not that far from where I picked this up, which is how strange. It is, as they say, a small world. And this one looks like it might perhaps have come from a sort of catalogue type store. So, I mean, generally, you know, for its age, this is not a bad box. I mean, you know, it isn't. If I just bring that up a little bit, it's really not a bad box at all. At first glance, it looks quite battered, but actually, it's really not bad at all. It's really not bad at all when all's said and done. And yeah, you know, I did have to. Well, I didn't. All I did for this was I put in an auto bid on the auction website, as you would do, and crossed my fingers. And it went right up to the maximum that I'd put on it, but I still managed to get it. So let me show you what you're actually here for, which of course is this fella. And here he is. And look at that. Look at that. I mean, that is pretty remarkable. 40 odd years on. It's KITT. It's KITT. For me, when I was tiny, that was more than good enough to convince me that was KITT. And this is a nice example. The windows are fine. The stickers, really good. It's got a tiny little sort of, there's the odd little tiny mark on them, but they're not broken, they're completely intact, and this is pretty fragile plastic, it has to be said. But it's got the you know, the sort of the imprints there for the sunroof elements. The underside is, now the underside I think has an issue. The issue I think that it has is here. Don't know if you can see, but here I think there should be a peg there, because there's a peg on the other side, and she does seem to pull. And this is the thing, this works. This actually works. I've got it up and running, which is incredible. Just clean the contacts a little bit, and as you can see, you know, it takes a rack of batteries. So 6 AA batteries it's got to haul around with itself, but it does power up. See? It's alive. It's categorically alive. It's just that its steering, I think, is pulling because there's an element missing to it in the front there. But I'm not suitably equipped to fix that. But I think I might know a man who is. So I'm going to have a word. But as you can see, you know, it's got the original sticker on the bottom. Now this was, I mean, as lovely as it is to have it again, I probably am going to let this one go because I'm not a collector of Knight Rider things. And I suspect that this might bring a lot more joy potentially to someone who is a collector of Knight Rider things, because I bet these don't turn up very often. Oops, let me just move her out of the way a little bit, because otherwise she's going to get tangled in its own aerials. And here we have the rather nice controller, which again is Knight 2000 branded. I didn't remember it having this colour scheme at all, but obviously it was a long time since I've played with it. But what I do remember these bits on the end, the little red lollipops on the end of the aerials, I guess, so you can't stab yourself in the eye with them or whatever. But again, classic controls. That is not it's not a lit switch there. I thought it would be a lit bulb rather when you put the on switch on, but it isn't. It's just a little slidey thing. But you can obviously, you know, very standard controls. 27 megahertz band. Slightly dodgy contacts on the batteries there, but I did, as I say, I have sort of managed to get it up and running. It's decidedly iffy. For some reason, this seems to be bigger than a sort of a standard 9-volt battery in this day and age. I don't know if there's been an issue with something breaking off here. You might actually be able to see it more clearly than I can at this point, but I don't know if there's actually maybe something fractured off the battery compartment. Not quite sure, but nonetheless, I say I have been able to get it moving, and I'm going to try and take some more moving shots so I can add to the end of this video for you, because the really nice thing about it, and it's one of the little details they probably didn't have to bother because it probably costs more to do. But you'll see from the videos I've already taken that the sensor on the front here does light up red when it moves, which is awesome. That's a lovely little detail. It's even got the Night 2000 bumper stickers still. It's just such a cool car. It just always has been. And this is just in really good shape. I just can't believe that I got this when I wasn't even looking for it. It was just completely one of those happy circumstances. And I remember Ed saying to me the other day that, you know, these things find their way into the hands that they were meant to find their way into, you know? So the fact that I've ended up with this, when I have such fond memories of, one of my main memories of it, and this will sound completely stupid when I say it, one of my clearest memories of this car is driving it on a frozen pond. I kid you not, because I thought it would be cool, because he could go. I thought he'd be able to sort of skid around on the frozen pond. Fortunately, it didn't end up in the bottom of the frozen pond, because it was actually very frozen, but of all the stupid things to do with it. I have no idea what happened to my original one. I'm sure it moved on, broke down, you know, got sold on, I don't know. But I just can't believe just looking at it now that I've actually got it 40 years on in this sort of condition. And what's also fascinating is that these tyres are really squishy. They're not solid rubber. They actually feel as if they're blown up somehow, which is crazy, isn't it? So I'm going to try and get some action shots of it. There might well be sort of, you know, seriously wobble cam, but I'm going to try and demonstrate a little bit more what it was actually capable of speed-wise and everything else, because it would be rude not to, really, wouldn't it? But yeah, I still can't quite get over that it's in this condition, and you should have seen my face when I realised it was actually going to work. I mean, it's you know, somebody who knows these things better than I do will be able to get this properly up and running, I have no doubt. Don't know how long it would last for, but when I sell it, I can say it is actually working. You know, hand on heart, it is working. So with that in mind, let's see if I can show you it working.